So we need to create, first of all, a routing. So that we create a routing for the finished product FG012 and a semi-finished product. The routing must be created in the plant. The product version must be also created for the finished and semi-finished product. So we start with the semi-finished product. For that, maintain manage routines. Okay, manage routines. So first things, I check if I've got routing about this material. So I check like this. Okay. Then I click on create. And I create for SG012. Okay. I put my plant 1. I check. I think it's 10. Okay. Then I click on enter. So I've got 3 operations: assembly, pack, testing. So I've got only 1 material. So okay, what is my usage? Is for production, and also 2 I release general operation. And so first operation, assembly. I put a description and I click on enter. And I choose a key. No to good receipt. Perfect. This one. And the pack. Okay. Pack line 1. Okay. And the first operation and with the last work center. Okay, is testing. Enter. I do it manually. The good receipt. Okay. Allocation. And I assign new assignment. Activity 10. Okay, I put also some time. This. Okay. It's just for a demonstration. I show you the main step that you can have in the creation of the routing, operation, allocation, define the work center. So I save. Okay, so I can use tool source if I want to do that, like this, enter. The same operation. So stainless bearing, I can review the name of the group. So assignment, I can assign in one the other one, the material, then okay, I can change the operation. Say just bearing like this. the assignment, the operation, allocation, and just choose the allocation for the material. New assignment. That means when you do that, it's simple. You can have the same routing because you have exactly the same operation if the time is exactly the same for both. But if you don't have exactly the same, you can create a different routing. You can create also alternative. So you see that the things. So again, if you have exactly the same setup, machine, labor, exactly the same operation that for exactly the same things, you can make an allocation with several material there in the assignment. You can assign in the group because that is a member, that is the key of the table behind the create routing, and you can add several material. Okay, then I create my routing. So the next step, the production version. So I can check also. I would like to show you also if you have create a routing per error, how to delete. So for example, I check for this material. Okay, I see that I've got two routing. I select my routing, I go inside. I see my routing, so I select, I go back. Okay, I click on change. Okay, uh, I've got delete. Delete the selected object? Yes. So I select all the line and I select delete. Yeah. Okay, I go in the header. Deletion flag. And routing it is updated. So the routing stay in the system without any operation. And you can also, yes, I would like also, I go inside and yeah, I would like to, I can change also like this. And I overrule statue, I change it. For example, just to keep in the statue created, I can change also the um, so everything is clear. So right now, we are able to go check just one things because I remember that an application. I don't think that this one exists in SAP Cloud. But just have a look to be sure. So we have also delayed task without archiving, and we have also, I suppose, this application exists in the cloud. CA 98 delayed task without archiving, like this. Material number. If I have a look about this material number, object deleted online, and you can plant task list. If you select routing, you can select the group for the plant, then 10 statue statue, if I check, my statue is created, and I click on execute. Enter plant for the material number. Ah, yes, the material inside. Okay, it's not the, okay, but I deleted manually. You can use this application. So I continue. Task list has been reorganized, and you see the result, deletion of task list without archiving. Okay. This is the other option when you have several deletion to do. So the next step is the production version. So I check for the 1010 and I start with the production version for the finished product. Like this. Okay, no production version. I click on create. I put the information about the production version and I put a number and description, for example, stainless steel bearing balls. I click on enter. Okay, I've got valid from and valid to. I can define a low size, and I check the routing in the system to assign to my production version. Click on go. Okay, and I do for the same things for the bill of material. If everything is okay, I click on check to ensure that the task is fine and the BOM exists. So it's good. I save. I save. I do it exactly the same things for the bearing. So I put my finished product, I click on enter. If I see an existing production version that I don't want to use anymore, I just have to click on delete production version, yes, and I create a new one. I click on create. Again, I put the number of my production version. I put my number in material field and I'm looking, click on enter, okay, and I check routing. I use a match code. I check for using material for my material. I display the right one because the first one I deactivate removed. I select my bill of materials and auto time check. Good. Green check. Statue green and I save. So I've got my bill of material. I've got my routing and I've got my production version. So it's not finished for the master data. As we want to make produce and sell, if you produce some things, if we have raw materials, we need to execute a supply chain and we need to purchase. So in this case, we need to create, for example, a purchasing info report. So for that, create. So we have created a BOM, we have created routing, we have created a purchasing info report. We create, sorry, production version, and we create also a purchasing info record. So for that, manage purchasing info record. So I call the application manage purchase info record, manage purchasing info record. Okay. The manage purchasing info record screen is displayed. Open new purchasing info record. For that, choose create. Simple, create. But just to be sure that anything exists in the system, you just have to fill material and you're looking for the plan 1010. If info record exists, I click on go. Okay, and easy filter, that means that the easy filter with Joule. And like this, you work with Joule. I'll show you. Unexpected error occur. Okay, but that does not exist. But you can right now you integrate with this the classic filter and the dual filter. When I say dual, that's EI assist AZ filter. Okay, so no info record. So I click on create. The purchasing info record screen is displayed. Enter either data. To make the following entries, your purchasing organization, the purchasing info record will be standard, your supplier, your material, your plant, your purchasing group, and the material group is determined automatically with the material. So the purchasing info record, we use the standard and the purchasing organization. So if I click one, the plant, 1010. The purchasing group I will use is the 001, 001, okay. My supplier, I would like to choose, I select, and I show filter, for example, for the purchasing organization, but I check, for example, for country, if I would like a French supplier, okay, I've got foreign, okay, select one, I click on enter, and I complete. I choose a French supplier because if I want to do a video about the intrastat, I will use this case. Okay. I enter my material and automatically the material group will be determined. So either data is added. Next time, enter general information. Make the following entries. Available from, available to. General information. That is a regular supplier. And today and up to the end of this year. Okay. General information is added. Right now, enter purchasing data. Make the following entries. The Incoterm and the Incoterm location. So, purchasing data, Incoterm, for example, X work. And most important in the field Incoterm location one, that is a vendor location. So the vendor location, that is the address of the vendor, Incoterm location is Cergy in France. So, like this. Okay. Then general information is purchasing data is added. So may enter delivery and quantity data. Make the following entries: delivery time in day, under delivery tolerance in percent, 10%, over delivery tolerance, and tax code, order unit, and standard order quantity, and good receipt based invoice verification selected. So let's start. Delivery time, say 2 days, 10%, 10%. VAT V1 is the input tax, full rate tax that starts standard quantity 1. And good receipt based verification is activate. Order acknowledge requirements, and we need a confirmation. Delivery and quantity data is added. No evaluated receipt settlement. Okay, activated. So it's perfect. It's not, we can enter reference data, but it's not required. So I think one thing we have to do right now, that is the most important, enter condition data, condition, create. So valid from, valid to, amount, price, unit, unit of measures, and currency. So the condition is valid from today up to the end of the years, as is for when you, for example, the price is 3 decimal, 4 decimal. You use the pricing unit to have the price, okay? The right price. For example, if you would like to have this price, okay? You need to use this field because you cannot use a perfect number. So I use this one. So great. Dot. Sorry. So like this. So you can use, for example, this to have a perfect price with the right rate. You click on apply, and at the end, choose create. The purchasing info record is created. So I think everything is okay to start the flow. But we have to do the same thing for all the other material that is external procure. So again, you have another view of the master data required for produce and sales flow. So you need a BOM, you need a routing, you need a production version, and you need also purchasing info record for the external procured material. Okay. So the next video, we will start with the process of produce and sell. Thank you so much.